I got pregnant after my tubal ligation, and doctors are treating it like a happy miracle as I sit here horrified. First off, I like to say that a running joke with me is that I win quote-unquote stupid lotteries. If something bad is incredibly unlikely to happen, it happens to me. I'm 27 and this past March I got my tubes tied. Doctors know that I've never had kids and obviously never want them. So much so that I was willing to go under the knife to ensure that I never have them. Well, unsurprisingly, considering my stupid luck, I was that less than 1%. It's beyond upsetting. I am at an increased risk of the pregnancy being ectopic, which is life-threatening. So I have to wait until they confirm it's not ectopic before I can get an abortion. I'm also terrified of an abortion. This is not a decision I ever wanted to make. I know the science behind it, but it's weirdly upsetting for me. Either way, I'm absolutely not having the kid. As I'm sitting in the ER, I can hear doctors in the hallway marveling over me. "Cool, right?" I hear one say. One of them congratulated me. Congratulated. The ultrasound tech joked about how I'm eating for two now. Meanwhile, I'm sobbing. The behavior from medical professionals to an obviously unwanted pregnancy is infuriating. It's making this so much harder. Edit, I wasn't sure what I expected making this post. At the time I was in shock, emotionally numb. I was too afraid to allow myself to feel angry or upset and fear I might break. Talking about it in person was difficult. So I went to the internet and tried to lift some weight off my chest. What I wasn't expecting though was the overwhelming love and support, and my heart is so full. I feel like I have an army behind me, giving me the strength to get through this. You all have truly brought light to this awful darkness I was in. I am confident I can get through this because of you. I can't thank you enough for all the kindness, love, and support. I can't put my gratitude into words. When it comes to reporting these doctors, for me, like many others, this year has been absolute hell. I used to be a strong person who wouldn't take crap from anybody. Due to some recent trauma though, I've been sort of mentally sedated. Even talking in general can be hard for me sometimes, let alone talking about something difficult. However, I've made a lot of progress and maybe taking a stand here would be a good step for me. My anxiety is telling me to let it go, but my anger is telling me that this isn't right and something needs to be said. Thank you again to all of you for supporting me through this. I will provide an update when I can. You need to summon the patient advocate, every hospital has one, and tell them in full detail how you have been treated. I'm a doctor and heads ought to roll for such appalling behavior towards a patient in a life-threatening crisis. For shame. I'll do this. I'm going to write everything down now while it's fresh in my mind. Thank you. Please do. I was treated poorly by the nurses and doctors when I had my tubes tied, and 4 years later, I still regret not logging a complaint with the hospital ombudsman, especially if your tubes are tied. Common sense would lead anyone to believe that it's a situation you wouldn't be happy about. Courage. 7 years ago, I went to the ER. I was pregnant after my next planning and a condom rip. I said I was getting an abortion and was treated horribly and kind of yelled at by the doctor. Regret also not saying anything after leaving and being out of massive pain. You clearly didn't want to be pregnant. How would anyone in their right mind even think that you wouldn't get an abortion? I hope that doctor gets sued for malpractice. What a narcissistic nutbag. I think about this often. I had to abort him because I was sick and not going to condemn a kid to an abusive father. My ex was horrible, and I wasn't going to let a kid get abused as I was. It was an extremely tough mission to find help for an abortion and then to finally escape my ex. I'm really happy I posted this because you're all making me feel so much better or more sane. I've been in a state of shock for the past day and I've been so overwhelmed, but y'all are lighting a fire in me. My anger is justified. I will get through this, and I'll definitely be writing a few letters. Thank you all. What they're doing is like congratulating someone for catching rabies despite having gotten the vaccine. Who the heck celebrates a medical failure? If anything, they should be invested in double checking your records to see if perhaps something went wrong with your surgery that people could actually improve upon in the future. Right? Can you imagine? Wow, can't believe you've caught polio despite it being medically eradicated in this country for decades. What a miracle! Dust off, iron log. That's unacceptable. Medical workers really need to be trained to never assume any pregnancy is welcome, even for people who aren't fixed. I'd make a general complaint that they need better training to be more sensitive to patients. I'm so sorry they're treating you this way. ETA, this is also potentially dangerous. Since you've had a tubal, that pregnancy might be ectopic, as you said, which is not only non-viable but also life-threatening for you if not immediately removed, which makes all their congratulations even more inappropriate. With the way they're acting, I'm worried they might try to talk you out of an abortion if you seek one. Don't let them. Ugh, I'm so sorry you're going through this. I don't know why people expect someone with a tubal ligation would be excited about being pregnant and congratulate them, etc. People are so freaking tone deaf. Read the dang room, folks. Take care of yourself. I got pregnant when I had an IUD, so also an unwanted pregnancy. I was at a hospital in Kentucky when I confirmed it, and yeah, was so surprised that I was never told what my options were. All they told me was to take my prenatal vitamins. It was so infuriating. I was luckily early enough to do the pill abortion, and I have since continued on with my child-free lifestyle. So sorry you won this lottery. Hope the abortion process is as painless as possible, and this is the last time you have to deal with it. Oh man, Kentucky here too. When I asked the nurse to please chart that I want to have my tubes tied or whatever procedure available for me, she acted like I, as a 30-year-old woman, was too stupid to understand that would stop me from getting pregnant. I replied, yes, I understand that would prevent me from ever having children. I just assumed it would be easier than having another abortion. And emphasized the word. My goodness, the look on her face, as if I was a repugnant, disgusting excuse of a woman. As if she had never freaking heard of abortion or a grown woman not wanting a baby. Still refused to chart it though. I've had every single nurse, assistant, and doctor make an excuse as to why they can't. Freehand right, never wants kids, will abort if pregnant. I've had 2 abortions now. I'm not sure how many more I need before they will freaking chart it, so I have some kind of evidence that I've been wanting it for the last 11 years. Maybe I'll ask for a punch card if I ever have the unfortunate luck of getting pregnant again. And when I hit 10, they'll finally do their freaking jobs and chart my request. Gosh, this is horrible. How freaking dare they? Yeah, you're a medical miracle, but holy crap, are they biologists or doctors? You're a human person, not a frog for them to dissect. I'm so sorry you're not getting the respect you deserve from them. Frowny face. Perfect example. That's exactly how I feel. It's so hard to put into words how inappropriate their behavior was. I can't think of any other example besides pregnancy that would make doctors behave that way. They don't care if the pregnancy is unwanted. To them, it's exciting. So I should be too, right? Ugh. It is so unprofessional. Like, hideously unprofessional. I'm so sorry that this indignity has been committed after your body was invaded against your will. What an insult added to injury. I'm a lawyer. My clients are having bad days. When something interesting happens or a weird issue arises that I think is neat, I'm not gushing about that to my client. That happens later privately with colleagues who are professionals too. You should definitely take names and write a strongly worded letter after your abortion and celebratory post-abortion drinking. Good luck. You've got this. I will definitely be celebrating when this is all over. Thank you. Cake and ice cream makes everything better. Not even a half-decent biologist would act like this. This is just breeder mentality at its finest. Good grief. Chances are high with a tubal that is an ectopic pregnancy and therefore a health risk, not to mention unviable. And they have the nerve to congratulate you? Please, please, please have them verify if it's actually a tubal pregnancy because it can literally kill you. My mother almost died from one. Write down everyone's name. You're going to want to write some letters once this emergency is dealt with. Sorry that you're surrounded by crapheads. That was my first thought. Start writing down names. It'd be too upsetting to do a dang thing right now. But I would exercise my rights as soon as I was mentally in the right headspace for heck to pay for me feeling even crappier in a god-awful situation. If you're in the headspace that you can, I would be a bee and say it loudly that you can hear them if that happened again, and it is not okay or appropriate. I always knew if I had an oops, I'd get an abortion. I had a calamity of multiple errors and ended up pregnant a few years ago. I had no issues aborting. I did not want. But having to have an abortion was scary and awful for me. I feel your unease and pain. And take note of anyone's name who shouldn't know about who you are, who knows what's going on. If someone congratulates you again, get their name. Then ask if they're a part of your care team. If they say no, make a list of HIPAA violations. The registrars at Dominican Hospital are gossipy craps. I went in for an emergency. Smoked cannabis my brother had given me that turned out to be laced with some kind of poison. The registrars told everyone in the hospital about my stay in their now closed psych ward, so all the medical staff treated me as if it was all in my head. I almost died.